Miss Martin muses and some mid-morning musings. Yes, precious, not morning musings because I completely slept in. If sleeping in means you sleep until 10 o'clock, which is actually a very nice thing. But hello, welcome everyone and everyone that will be coming in on the replay. I hope you are doing well. As you can hear, my voice is gloriously back, and I've only have residuals from the cold. Now, one could argue, what is so terrible about a cold? Oh my gosh, I'll tell you, a cold can hit you like a ton of bricks. Technically, it was probably the flu, which I think is the cold, but I digress. Hello, everyone coming in. I hope you are having a very, very fine morning, and one of them is the Nordporeal life form who is saying hello. Yes, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about some meltdowns today because everyone loves a good meltdown, and I love it, love it when I don't have to defend George R. R. Martin. It's like, thank goodness, because as we've talked about previously, a lot of people like to use him for clickbait and rage bait. And so then I have to defend him because I believe in truth. See my whole Catholic explaining the online trolling and all of this. It's like, no, you've got to be truthful even about people you don't like. But yay! So George R. R. Martin has given me a gift because he just kind of melted down, and we're going to be going through it because I think that there is a lot to be said about it besides the typical we're never going to get the winds of winter. It is okay. George didn't finish City. No. And he had a few things to say about it. He's we'll get into it. So hello, Stephen Ransom. Thank you for being here, and thank you, everyone. You know what? There's this beta thing about showing comments on stage. I'm going to push this. I might regret it. Here we go. Boom. Comments take the stage. Live comments from viewers will appear on screen during your stream. Keep the conversation going and make your audience part of the experience. Okay, that's kind of what I do when I hit this little button, but oh well. Hey, someone just say something like hi. So we'll see that if it will show up. And if it will not, yeah. And thank you everyone that were there yesterday. Yeah, I ended up taking it down because here's the thing about the whole Harry Potter deal. It's a no-win situation, and you are dealing with children. Oh, it did work. Thank you, Stephen Ransom. There you are. Okay, I guess we can put them up there along the side. If YouTube or StreamYard or whoever is doing it wants to do it. There's a no-win situation here, and you're dealing with children. I don't know. As usual, the usual suspects or even bots are coming out. Maybe even people that are maybe encouraged. We've even learned sometimes that people involved with productions come out and say certain things so that they can then react. And again, when you're dealing with children, it's just like, fine, whatever. We know what the problems are with it, but I do stand by what I said yesterday about the concerns, is that look who they waste swap, or look who they make more ethnic, if you will, and look who they did not. And that also tells a story. And especially it's concerning with Harry Potter because someone said also, I forget who, that the two characters that canonally are just crucified over being called dirty blood are the ones that they chose. And that's an issue. Yeah. Well, you see, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just going to stay out of it. I'm going to stay out of it from here on out. I've said what I've said. The show was already ruined with the whole Snape thing because we knew they were going to change it. And so now it's going to be just incredibly uncomfortable. It was ill-conceived to begin with. There was no need to remake them. Yes, there were parts of the Harry Potter movies that were not good, that could have been done a lot better. Ginny Weasley is one of them, but to necessitate a whole remake, no. And you're not going to be able to recreate the magic anyways. But I don't put anything past Hollywood. So there we go. Yep. So just going to stay out of it from here on out. Will I watch them when they come out? I honestly don't know. I may be in a different headspace in a year from now. Who knows? All right. Well, let's get on to George R. R. Martin, something that everyone loves to do. Yay, I get to bash him a little bit with no problem. No problem whatsoever. I always say, again, I'll say it twice, I'll say it one more time, and maybe I'll say it 10 times, that you There is enough to criticize this man that's real. So let's stick with real. So this is what's going on. He's talking about, for all you Howard Waltrop fans out there, if you enjoyed our short film, the adaptations of Mary Margaret Road, Grader, Night of the Cooters, and The Ugly Chickens that we've been showing at film festivals over the past couple of years, we have big news a-coming. A Waldrop feature is on the way, all animated from the Lion Forge. It's an adaptation of A Dozen Tough Jobs, etc. So he goes on and on about it a little bit, and he's obviously very excited. Now, does he have a right to be excited about something that he is doing? Absolutely, positively, that's fine. That's fine. We're going to get a little deeper into this, though, and see where he's going. Stevenson says, I wonder how much of his contractual to release the former cast from the typecasting and the connection to any criticism of J.K. Oh, back with J.K. Rowling. I wonder how much of this contractual to release the former cast from the typecasting and the connection to any criticism. I honestly don't know. I honestly think that it's very simple. It's very simple. If you are going to get something made, you have to. You must have certain characters, certain actors of certain persuasions, of certain ethnicities. And so that's why we're going to see the fact that Dumbledore is gay is going to be played up in it, because you have to have it if you're going to get it made, period. That's the rules. So then it's a matter of who they choose. I just am pointing out, look who they've chosen. Maybe they don't have any. It's who they've chosen that is a concern. But yeah, you have to. Now, I don't think they're thinking too hard. I think they don't care. All right. Let's look at Martin. So this is where the meltdown begins. I know. Some of you will just be pissed off by this. What do you mean, some of us? What do you mean, some of us? As you are by everything I announce here, well, yeah. That is not about Westeros or the winds of winter. Well, yeah. I wonder why. It's not like it's just come out of nowhere. Why do you think people would be ticked off that once again he's announcing things that he's working on besides this? I'll throw this out here. How hard can it be to write a novel? Sometimes people go, no, it's really hard. You've got to do all this, that, and that, and this. That is true. You do. But you can also friggin' write. Okay? And if you don't want to write something, then don't write it. Don't keep stringing us along. To say I've worked on a chapter here, a chapter there. In any other profession, let alone writing, the idea that you are immune from working is absurd. Like, let's go to J.K. Rowling. Imagine if she'd have left us between books 6 and 7 and left 15 years, and one could argue 20 years, and I'll say why in a second. And then every time people were like, when are you going to give us, book 7? It's hard to write. I'm doing my best. I've written a chapter here and a chapter there, but I've got other things to do. Yeah, that would really, really go over well, wouldn't it? And listen, you have one job. One job. Sometimes people say Martin doesn't owe us anything. Yes, he does. He has one job. He needs to finish these books. If he'd have finished the books when he said he would have, or just sucked it up and finished them the way he had originally done, a lot of people have all these theories that he's trying to change the ending, whatever. Or just come out and say, all right, kids, all right, I'm not going to finish it, but I'm going to hire someone else to do it. We would forgive him, but he's not. So he's told us basically it's him or nobody. So that's why we're all concerned. This is Shield Wall of Dragons. It would be different if this was his first novel or something, but he's cranked out other books already. That is true. And he's a writer. Writers write. Yes, there have been times where I have not been able to necessarily write. It's like, but oh darn, I've got a deadline. I sit my ass down and I write. And usually it happens. He should just announce that he will never work on it. The book will never be right. The critics are lined up for the attack. Yeah, it's too late now. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Sorry, my cat's now trying to take my microphone. Of course, he always does. So, yeah. It's just very simple. There's only one thing people care about. That's him finishing what he started. Part of this is his own fault, though. He has been very flippant in the past about it. He has mocked the fans in the past about it. And he has given us at least 2 hard deadlines that he missed. We're now 5 years away from the last time he said he would have it done. And he hasn't. And then he did that whole, I feel sorry for people that want the winds of winter because blah, blah, blah. I've got other things. Well, so then, yes, people are going to be mad. You feel sorry for us? You are the one who started the contract, and it is a contract. If you say you're going to do 7 books, you're doing 7 books. The end. You're not special. You're not any more special than any other author. And the more he keeps doing this, he's going to become less and less special. He's only hurting himself. Cat attacks text Mike, no mouse on desk. What did you expect? Ha, ha, ha. Hello, Biggles. Hello, thank you for being here. Yes. So, yes, of course, it's going to piss us off. But then he shows us that he does listen. He does pay attention. You have given up on me or on the book. Yeah. We have. I wonder why. And this is why I'm putting this into perspective, because was it Dance with Dragons and the Feast for Crows was actually one book that he split up into 2. So the second one, the Dance with Dragons, that's the one where, for example, you don't have anything that happens with Sansa. So if you're following Sansa's story, which is much better in the book, it's been 20 years. 20 years. Now, to put it in perspective as far as age goes, right now he's, 77? He was 57 then. Now he's 77 with 2 books left to finish, where he apparently can't write more than 3 sentences a year. So, yes, if people have given up on you or on the book, it's with good reason. And I think it was because he couldn't read the room. He thought he was being so funny by mocking the fans about it. Like, oh, I know, ha, ha, ha. Hey, I'm coming out with a book. No, it's not that one. Ha, 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 ha. And then now he pissed people off. This is what I tell people. If you're going to be like an asshole on the internet, let's just throw this out. You're going to be an asshole on the internet. Don't be surprised if people are going to be assholes back. That's just the nature of it. It's that meme where you see someone shoveling crap out and then, crap comes back in. I will never finish wins. Well, that's where we all are, yes. If I do, I will never finish A Dream of Spring. Well, do the math, pal. You will be 97 at this pace if you finish A Dream of Spring. Do you know how many people do not live to 97 and certainly are not in their complete mind? Put it in perspective. Look at the late Queen Elizabeth. Her husband was nearly 100. Okay, maybe Betty White could have, but she was brilliant. But even she didn't make it. The dude from Days of Our Lives who played Doug. Yeah, he was 99, I believe. He also was almost 100. Yeah. How can you finish A Dream of Spring? Tell me about this. If I do, it won't be any good. No, I'm not so sure about that. I think everyone who has actually read the books and has been following this from the beginning believes that it will be good. It will be good. We just don't believe it's going to be finished. I ought to get some other writer to pinch hit for me. Well, frankly, yeah. Because if you won't do it, then find someone who will. Hasn't you ever done that? If you've ever been in a supervisory position or you're working with a coworker, it's like, listen, I don't care if you do it or not, but if you're not going to do it, let me know so I can find someone who will. Or hell, I'll do it. Hello, the Sentinel. Good morning. Thank you for being here. And Buddy Hepburn says, I thought he just feared the pushback if the next book fails. Books 4 and 5 are nowhere near 1 and 3, and many were more vocal about that. Then the show expanded his reticence. Possibly. But you know what? Suck it up, pal. You're a gazillionaire. You want people to leave you alone? Finish the books. Sentinel says the man needs discipline of life and a diet. Well, I'm not going to necessarily give him too much grief about that. We all know that it's difficult, especially the older you get, et cetera, et cetera. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Just write, for crying out loud. He should get another writer. I volunteer. Damn it. I've been doing it for fun anyways. LOL. Well, yeah. And that's what people are saying. It's like, if you're not going to do it, get someone else who will. So he's kind of being a bit sarcastic. But let's just think, why are people saying this? Yes, he should get someone else to finish it if he can't. He's played around with the fans too much. Buddy Hepburn says, I think they may be done and he'd rather they come out posthumously and are what they are. Sounds like a douchebag. Well, yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying is this is why I like this. It's like, yes, if you want to crap on him over something, crap on him over this. Not over some made up stuff that people like to use for rage bait and get memes and monetization on X, which is very annoying. And it's sinful. So in any case, yes. He's coming off like a douchebag here. Now, if he is planning to publish him after his death, just come out and say so. I sincerely believe that if he were to come out and say, look, friends, they're done. That's why I'm doing all these other things. I'm not doing all these other things instead of it. Okay, it's done, but I want them to come out after I'm dead. That's my dying wish, and you're not going to hear anything more about it ever again. I believe the majority of people would respect that because that's at least a promise they were going to get it. Was made people start to lose it and made me start to lose it was the fact that the idea that we're not going to get it. And the reason why I'm mad is because I was a fool and I can't go back in time. When he did that 2020 deadline, I thought he meant it. So it's like, okay, let's hurry up and read these books. And then we know what happened. Nothing. I'm going to die soon anyways because I am so old. Well, yeah. I lost all interest in A Song of Ice and Fire decades ago. I wonder why people feel that way. I don't give a shit about writing any longer. Huh. I just sit around and spend my money. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. It's your money. Then he goes, I edit the wild card books too, but you hate wild cards. Okay, so he's talking about other stuff he's doing besides Winds of Winter. Remember, though, dude, you have one job. One job. And why should we like the wild cards? Why should we get involved with anything you're writing when you have shown that you don't have respect for your consumers? Everything I know about this is from your friends working, yes. And actually, those are very good sources because we won't let people lie about George either. You may hate everything else I have ever written. Maybe. I don't know and I don't care. The Hugo winners and the Hugo losers. I don't care if you've won a Hugo. Get in line. So is a whole other bunch of people. A Song of Light and Dying of the Light, Sand Kings and Beauty and the Beast, The Tower, Ashes, Stone City. So now he's writing listing all of these things that he has done. And it's like, yeah, you don't care about any of those. I know. Not anymore. If you had finished the books or gotten someone to ghost write them, then yes, we probably would care because we would be consuming the hell out of them. Consuming the hell out of all your other stuff. You don't care about anything but the winds of winter. Yeah. You've told me so often enough. And nothing he says here is untrue, so he knows it. Now, before I continue on with his commentary, there's something else that this is showing me. Dude, if you're letting this get to you, then get off the internet. You have the money to do it. It takes discipline. And I know it's hard because people will be baiting you, but I know specifically actors who hire the people to do that, or they make that part of their personal secretary's job, their personal assistant. Their job is to monitor social media. And if there's anything that they need to know, they let them know, like someone that they trust, and just stay away from it. Because obviously you can't deal with it. I know I can't deal with it. I went through a bit of a meltdown, mainly about the way things have been with the politics when I realized that everything is a meme and you don't know what's real. And it's part of the plan. If one more person tells me that, I'm going to melt down. I need to see reality. Yes means yes, and no means no. So I don't do it anymore. Sound like a little crybaby. Well, yeah, especially with as much money as he has and as much resources. I would kill to have these resources. Thing is, I do care about them. All right? Then show us. And I care about Westeros and Winds as well. The Starks and the Lannisters and Targaryens, Tyrion and Asha, Dany and Daenerys, the dragons and the direwolves. I care about them all more than you can ever imagine. Of course he does. Of course he does. And I completely understand where he's coming from. Hindsight, I know, is 2020. If he could have gone back to 2015 and just never talked about it or never been as flippant as he had been on this blog, I think that things would have been a lot different for him. A lot of people like to control the narrative of what they're doing to the stories or what they're doing online. They want to be able to do and say anything, but as soon as it's done back on them, they don't like it. I loved a dozen tough idol jobs. I'm sorry, a dozen tough jobs. The first time I read it years ago. I loved Howard too. It saddens me that he did not live long enough to see the film. I hope we do him justice. How can we not? So he's going back to the movies. How can we not? Hercules, Howard, etc. Joe Lionforge, I wish you could all share my excitement at the prospect of this movie. For those who do, the Hollywood broke this story. I wish we could too. We can't. We can't. And this is what Sentinel's saying here. Why doesn't he just hire someone to write the books, and if it meets his expectation and gets his approval, release it? George Lucas did the same thing with the expanded universe authors. Yeah. It's all very simple. Or just shut up about it. It is unrealistic, however, to imagine that people are going to do anything but want the winds of winter. Again, you cannot miss 2 deadlines. Be flippant about it and then just keep talking about, "Oh, but I've got other things to do. I've got so many other things to do." I'm sorry, this is just the way the world is. He needs to quit his not a blog. He needs to quit reading comments and all that because everything that people are saying is true. There is a reason behind it. This is no longer 2015 when he was. No, wait, it was at 2016 when he missed his first deadline. I don't know. No one likes a whiner. No one likes a complainer. And if he wants people to be excited, he needs to come out. Here's the other thing. Someone told me this once upon a time. This is the reason why clear communication is very important about everybody. I'm judging the whole planet right now. But this was a situation, a work situation, that if you withhold information from people, especially in a time of uncertainty, if you withhold information from people in a sign of uncertainty, people will fill in the vacuum. And the more that they get frustrated, the more they will get angry. And they will fill it in with more. There is one solution, rather two. One, release the book. Or two, say you're never going to do it and leave me alone and let me die in peace. The end. But either way, his legacy is tarnished because of his attitude. I've said it before, said it twice, said it 3 times, I'll say it again. Compare his attitude with Robert Jordan's attitude to his fans. Okay, what is that XP thing in the chat? Are you? I don't know. Let me have a look. Oh, hello, Buddy Hepburn. Wait, he's saying hello to Buddy Hepburn. We have a cat who we love our animals here in Miss Martin Muses. Hey, what is that XP thing in the chat? It's something that's from the I have no idea. I'm seeing seeing what you're talking about in the chat. Number 3, number 1, number 2. Is it new? It could be. I have absolutely no idea. I didn't even know that was happening. All right, let me see. Uncertainty brings fear. Yeah, breeds fear. That's what I've also been saying about politics, but I'm just not going to go there. See, is your way to show that you are important in the chat? Wow. Well, everybody's important. I don't know what this is going on about. Okay, wait, we did finish this. Okay, so I'm going to go out of here. I like to use that Charlie Brown thing where you have Lucy holding the football and Charlie Brown is going to go kick it. And he's like, this time, how he talks himself into saying, this time she's not going to pull it away. And Lucy even has a way of like gaslighting him and manipulating him. And then finally, of course, what happens? She pulls it away. Never fails. Martin needs to just stop. If it's bothering him. Now, there are some people who give 0 clucks, and if you're able to do that, more power to you. But obviously this is getting to him, and obviously this sounds like a meltdown. Because yeah, nobody cares about anything except finishing this. And part of that is because of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones sucked so bad at the end, especially, that people wanted a proper ending. You missed your window to become a hero. But you just have to be honest. Let your yes be yes, let your no be no. And I think a lot of these Hollywood types sit around and joke with each other, or they're always like laughing, ha ha ha, watch me. I'm going to troll them. I'm going to troll them, but they can't handle it back. Frankly, this is why I don't like trolling in general and say that it's actually kind of dangerous, is the vast majority of people cannot handle it when it's done back. I have seen it happen again and again and again and again. Oh boy, let me see. A lot of commentary here. People are crapping on YouTube. I bet super chats give you a crap ton of experience. Just another way to social engineer more engagement and money since YouTube gets a 30% cut. Oh, Biggle says I sent you a DM of a screenshot to explain the weird leaderboard thing if you want to know about it. All right, let me go and see. I'm going to try to get to my private messages here. Da, da, da. There you are. Sent you a photo. It says Community Leadership and XP, a place for fans to stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. It resets every stream so you can always try again. How do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience points or XP. Here's how you get them. Send live chat messages, send super chats, and super stickers. You're right. All right, now I'm going to be petty. You all know what I'm going to do. But I completely do not expect it. There's one way to test that, isn't there? To test some super chats give you extra. Well, look who it is. It is D. Kenobi. Hello, Teresa. Hope you are well. Well, you know, I try. Shieldwell Dragon said, sorry I didn't try to derail the stream by asking about it. No, you didn't derail anything. It's open musings. I have the right to veto any topic. That is my prerogative, my executive orders here on Miss Martin Muses. So I can do that. Actually, I kind of like this thing going back and forth here because it enables me to be able to see a little bit better the comments that are coming in and to read them, because sometimes you do miss them. Oh my gosh, Biggles took the bait. Thank you, Biggles. Thank you, Biggles. Do I win? Well, we shall see. Now, if I were really petty, I would say, I don't know, someone give a $10 super chat. However, Biggles, thank you for the $5 super chat. And for that, you, sir, get a rose. Let's see. I'll give you this one. Oh, wait. That's my Catholic explaining one. Well, I guess why not? I'll give you a Catholic one. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still going to be doing more content on my Catholic explaining channel. I'm planning to do regular Sunday either streams or premieres. Badge this, says Gap after dark. I'm going to ask Grok. Thank you. I didn't win this thing. This is a lie. It's a lie. Is it a lie? Those bastards. And Biggle says, I always like supporting you. I mean, I am Catholic, so it works. Also, my mom loves the church you suggested. Oh, yeah. You see, I know. I deliver. I give fans what they want, unlike George R. R. Martin. Yeah. Sneakinobi says, people who cheered for the dumb writing season 5 through 7 got the season 8 that they enabled and deserved. True. Well, it takes a while for people to wake up. Everyone has their different red pill moment. I do remember, though, a lot of people saying that season 5 was where it just started going downhill. I remember my sister saying, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. But it still had a few good moments. But it is what it is. It was ill-conceived. I don't think anyone ever again is going to try to film and finish a series until all the books are out. It worked with Harry Potter because that first set of movies was one miracle after another. You know, we had the situation, first of all, The first one was when Richard Harris sadly passed away, and they were able to recast him. I know a lot of people maybe didn't like Michael Gambon as much as Richard Harris. I am one of them. However, I appreciate the fact that he did not try to be a carbon copy of Richard Harris, and I think he did as good as anyone would have done otherwise. But yes. But then again, people trusted Rowling. And for the most part, she has always delivered what she has said. The only thing she didn't was the awful Fantastic Beasts. The money was the reason it got canceled. It was crummy writing that got it canceled. See, Gap After Dark says, I don't know. I've known people that haven't woken up and probably won't just go on about their lives clueless. Biggle said, to be fair, I said it was terrible after episode 1. Okay, gotta go. Have a good one. Well, thank you, Shield Wall Dragons. I've known people that did not like the very first episode of Game of Thrones, and it's certainly understandable. Well, from the beginning, you saw Benahive and Weiss putting their, for lack of a better word, perv things onto it. While there are a few explicit sex scenes and things that Martin wrote within the context of the story, it was not even close to what they did on the show. Steve Kenobi said Gambon wasn't good, should have gone for Charles Dance or Timothy Dalton. I suppose. I thought he was fine. I thought he was fine. Timothy Dalton, that's a very interesting casting choice for Dumbledore. I'm not sure that would have worked. But interesting. He could have acted it. Let's see. Charles Dance as Dumbledore? Yeah? Could have. Though for all we know, they said no. We're not going to get another decent show, neither fantasy nor sci-fi. Well, that's true. It's not going to happen because they're not going to allow them to adapt it. Agree? Steven said was bad as A for me, and the slide started earlier than that. Yeah. The slide started when they chose to abandon the source material. Yes, Martin left them kind of in the lurch, but not as much as people realize. Yeah, 90% of the sex and nudity in the show was not in the books. That is correct. Biggles Met said, Sporking told me the new Dumbledore is too angry for Dumbledore. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yes. He didn't have the warmth of the Dumbledore. However, that is also the director's issue. Because if he was playing it too angry, it's his job to go, hey, man, tone it down a bit. Yeah, especially in Goblet of Fire, he really came off cranky. And somehow Richard Harris was able to show the quiet authority of Dumbledore while at the same time showing his warmth. It was very sad. Very sad that he passed, and just the way it is. And that's why, to bring this full circle back to George R.R. Martin, is people die, dude. So if people are afraid you're going to die, that is a valid concern. A valid concern. Now, if he is writing them both at the same time, A Dream of Spring and Winds of Winter, well, then tell us. I think that would go a long way of bringing goodwill. So maybe that's the third way he can solve this. Just say, hey, people, I decided I'm writing them both together, and they're going to be released within a year of each other. Boom. People are just concerned at this point that they're not going to get them. And he was too insistent that no one else is going to do it. Stig is making a point about Stannis. Stannis burned his kid because his army was cold next to the woods where they found the firewood with which to burn the kid. Brain dead writing. Yeah, that was stupid. They did not like Stannis. There has been a lot of analysis that shows the way that the writers wrote the characters was in correspondence to how much they liked the actors or were in love with them. I almost had these big crushes. It's very creepy once you realize what they did. Buddy Hepburn said, what's dumb is I'm assuming more content was coming, so they truncated and cut out a lot of what they could have done to try to catch up to something that never came. True? Well, and that's where Martin does have some of the blame, and he, to his credit, took the blame. Said, "I'm sorry. I know I told you it was gonna be done by this point, and it wasn't." But it was also stupid to think that they could bring it to a conclusion without Lady Stoneheart, because they made the decision about Lady Stoneheart long before anything came about there not being the rest of the books. So if the actress was hot, they just made her naked the whole time? Well, kind of. Yeah, I mean, look at what they did with Amelia Clark, and also the way that they wrote him, and the way that they would do all those close-ups of their faces, like John Black. Gosh darn it, Jon Snow. Show his eyes, his face. It's like, and they were enamored of Tyrion, and so they turned them into these little saints. And none of the characters are really supposed to be saints, because he was writing from the whole long history. History rather is one long defeat. It's a defeat. Real life. There are very few saints and a lot of sinners. He did have some saints in his story. He does have saints in his story, but they are few and far between, because that's the way real life is. Let's see. Yeah, Stieg is doing some math. I believe I said so before. Yes, 14 years since the last book. Also, last time we got an Elder Scrolls game. That is true. However, this is the reason why the analogy doesn't quite fit. It's like, yes, we haven't got another Elder Scrolls game, but if we don't get another Elder Scrolls game, we'll be perfectly fine. It wasn't like Elder Scrolls ended on a big cliffhanger. It wasn't as though, how do I say this? The analogy I used a bit earlier in the stream, I don't know if you were here. It was like if J.K. Rowling waited 14 years between book 6 and 7 of Harry Potter and was in no way close to finishing it. Or maybe even better analogy would be between 5 and 6, because there were 2 books left. Or if Tolkien released or its publishers released the 2 Towers and waited years and years and years. I've even argued even 20 years if you count point of view chapters before Return of the King. If you're gonna have a story that demands an ending, you need to end it. Now, if he did it similar to the way that Feist did his work, where he had a bunch of little mini series, like 3 books. Remember, you could read Magician. I'm stealing this totally from you, but you were right. You could read Magician and be perfectly happy. He could have ended at the end of Magician. He could have ended after the first trilogy. It would have been perfectly fine. He could have ended it after the next duology. It would have been fine. He had stopping points. Same thing with what's going on with Forgotten Realms with the Dritz books. This, though, demands an ending. It is linear. Man, Bear, Pig. Hello. You think George is a fan of John Goodman films? I honestly have no idea. Well, yeah. I mean, House of the Dragon. Yeah, House of the Dragon is, yes, stupid. I agree with the comments in here. Yeah. Why didn't Voldemort just use the almighty pillow to smother Harry? He would have ended all the books on page 1. Yeah. He just had to use the guy of whatever cadavra or whatever it's called. Hello, Sci-Fi Sith Dan. Thank you for being here. Elder Scrolls did end on the cliffhanger. The Thalmor are trying to end all existence. It has to do with a few kids. Okay, Stig, I'm going to be a bit cranky with you here. You know, and I know it's different. It's different. It's a different situation. I mean, no one is on the edge of their seat waiting for the end of that. Or maybe there's a few people. I don't know. But if anything, what Martin is guilty of is continuously writing about it and baiting the fans. You see, he would not have gotten this much backlash if he hadn't been baiting the fans all along. He thought he was being funny, and then didn't like what he got in return. Everyone loves to be a funny little troll until it's put back upon them. Let's see. Man, Bear, Pig. I wonder how often George thinks about John. I honestly have no idea. Maybe I don't know entirely what the context is. Maybe it's because I'm still recovering from my cold. Yeah. And yeah, and for the record, yes, I have no patience with any comparisons between the different fantasy authors. You cannot. This is the closest I will get to a comparison is in the fact of if you have a linear story that demands an ending, it must be ended. I know the quality is a lot lower. However, they were very successful. The Twilight books. They demanded an ending. And Stephanie Meyer gave it. Now, people really didn't like the ending. A lot of people really didn't like the way things turned out with the character, the wolves, and the imprinting thing. But she gave an ending. And people did eventually kind of forgive her. People learned to laugh about it. This is exactly what it says. Let's see. A sci-fi Sith Dan says. So George R. R. Martin is having a meltdown because he'd constantly be annoyed to finish the Game of Thrones book before he drops dead. Exactly. And I'm sorry, there's a reason why people feel that way. There is a reason. Guess why? Because it's true. It's true. And no one believes that you can't have what writing at this point he's been writing less than a chapter a year if he's writing at all. Now, if he has writer's block and all that, well then just say so or don't say anything at all. But one thing that people cannot tolerate is being mocked. He mocked the fans because he thought he was being cute. People remember. So, yeah, he's his own enemy. He's his own enemy here, and I can't feel sorry for him. Yes, I know he's a real person, he's a real soul and everything, but then he needs to get off the internet. Needs to get off the internet. I've talked before about this whole revenge thing that well, they did it to us, so I can do it to them. This is going into a little bit of the politics. It's like, okay, then you can't bitch the next time someone does it to you. The ends do not justify the means. The means are important. So if you're going to be mean to the fans on your Not a blog, then you cannot be surprised when they're mean back. Because hell have no fury like a woman scorned. This. Martin got high on fame and made the books his third or fourth priority. Precisely. And he was probably in a circle jerk where everyone's like, ha ha ha, that'll really make the fans mad if you say, gee, I feel sorry for people that want to have the ending because I've got so many other things to do. Not on the same level, but look at like Stephen King and Mark Hamill. How they kept complaining, everything got so toxic, I've got to leave. It's like, you were the ones making it toxic. You dished it out, you just couldn't handle it when it was handed back to you. He definitely sniffs his own farts. Yes, he does. Well, you have to, on a certain level, if you're going to have an ego. Right? If you have an ego, you got to. You gotta be sniffing your own farts. You've gotta be self-confident. I like to look at the composers. Many of the composers were insufferable. I'm thinking of Richard Wagner was known to be so, and there was a firsthand account where someone was like, I really wanted to hate his next opera because of his attitude. I'm paraphrasing. And then, damn it, it was great. I've heard that James Cameron is similar, that he can be a real douche, but then he keeps bringing out these masterpieces, or one could argue, are they masterpieces, or is he just so able to get into the zeitgeist that that man just prints money? But dang it, if Beethoven could write the Ninth Symphony when he was deaf, There we are. If you really want to do something, you'll do it. Let's go to the dating analogy. There was that book that became a phenomenon. He's not that into you. It was for women. I know it sounds like it's rocket scientists, or it's not rocket science, but women really needed to hear this message. That if a dude doesn't ask you out, it means he doesn't want to ask you out. So move on. A lot of times women will sit around and overanalyze, like, oh, he really wants to, he just doesn't feel like it, or he's feeling insecure, or blah, 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 blah. No. Even the creepy ones will ask you out, right? If a guy is interested, he will show his interest. If a guy is not interested, he won't show his interest. The end. If Winds of Winter and Dream of Spring were a woman that George R.R. Martin wanted to date, he would have gotten them finished yesterday. If it was a woman he did not want to date, he would be acting the way he's acting right now. Oh, I'm so busy with work. Oh, I'm this. Oh, this came up. That came up. That came up. Let me see. Sci-Fi Mombi says George R. R. Martin possibly does have writer's block since he says he did finish 3/4 a game Winds of Winter book. I think you mean which he was satisfied and start off. That's true. Oh, I'm sure he has writer's block, but there's a way to get out of writer's block if you're a professional. Or sometimes there's a way to not respond to writer's block. Let me put it that way. Yeah, something about Raising Arizona. Again, I am not familiar with this. So I hope you all maybe in the chat can help out there. He said 3/4. Yeah. If there is a theory that works, it's the theory that the Game of Thrones ending was so similar to his ending that he can't deal. But there's also a way to deal with it. Go away. Like, okay, here's my book. Here's my book. And then shut off the internet. Or do what I said that certain actor does. Have your PA go through and only have them screen things that you know that they know that you're cool with reading and that won't make you melt down. Let's see. Sci-Fi then says, plus the conclusion of the show and the fan reaction, he was slight against now, which doesn't want to finish it because people now know the bad end. Yes. But even he himself said when it came out, but remember the butterflies. That was the first time he talked about butterflies because they left out things like Lady Stoneheart and all that, that the way we get there will be different. And we all know that whatever you want to say about George R. R. Martin and his qualities or non-qualities of being a writer, he would never have written the whole "Who has a better story than Bran the Broken?" He would not. Oh, okay. Man Bear Pig says in Roseanne, Dan, played by John Goodman, comes to understand he can't do everything himself. Possibly George is in the same one metaphorically. Yeah. I mean, if I had the money, hell, I have a kid in the neighborhood come and help me clean out my house sometimes. For crying out loud, if I can do that, and I'm not a gazillionaire, George, you can hire some people to come help you out. Steve Kenobi says, The Wheel of Time is probably closest to Martin's books. Well, you know how I have issues with comparisons, but I think I know where you're going. Thousands of characters, hundreds of plots, foreshadowing, etc. Yet Jordan kept pumping out the books. Damn right. The end of the show won't be the same due to the context. The show went full retardando to get there. Precisely. Biggles Met says, all right, I have a meeting. My super chat means nothing to this YouTube game. I know, I am so sorry. But you know what, Biggles? You know to whom it matters. It matters to me. And I do thank you. And I'm really happy your mom liked the church I suggested, the parish I suggested. So I'm very happy. We're all happy people here at Miss Martin Muses, for the most part. Whew. Yeah, so that's really all I got to say about that. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to finish the books, and I mean, now that we have the Duncan Egg is being delayed, we've got the Knights at Seven Kingdom, we have Harry Potter is going to be worse than we thought. I just can't have any sympathy. I just can't muster any sympathy. The only time I feel sorry for people is when they're genuinely nice and they've never done anything assholey, and then people are assholes to them. That makes no sense. But if you're an asshole on the internet, people are going to be assholes back. It's the law of physics. Just the way it is. I know that's not the law of physics, but you get the idea. And if he doesn't want to announce it, like, why does he even have to announce it? Yes, here we go. Steve says, see, this is the other thing. I reread the books last year, thought book 6 was near. Dumbass me. Yes. And you see, that's the other reason why people are not kind to him, because he put out a cryptic hint. And he is not a stupid man. He knew how it would be interpreted, because he used to, whenever the publishing of a book was imminent, he would do something on his Not a Blog that would have like the first letter. So he did that with Winds of Winter. Everyone lost their minds. It's like, okay, here it's coming. And yeah, everyone thought it had to have been near just by everything he was saying. And then he did that, and then nothing. And then he just comes out with these bitter things that are basically telling people, no, it's not coming. All that hope I've been giving y'all means nothing. Yeah, so quit falling for it. At this point, who really cares? And the only thing that I genuinely want to see from the story is a much better ending for the Starks, I guess. You know, Arya, where she was going, Sansa, who is so much cooler in the books, and John Black. John Black, I keep saying it. Jon Snow. It'd be so great if he just stays dead. That would be beautiful. Or as many people say, that he is going to go ahead and become inside of Ghost. But the story doesn't have a happy ending. Though we know for certain that Dany won't lose her crap because she hears a few bells. I mean, that was so stupid. Betty Hepburn says, he is in that trap of don't ask me about it, but then no one cares about anything he's doing and then brings it up to get extra attention. Yeah, exactly. He's bitter that no one cares about other things. Well, get in line, pal. Guess how many things I really genuinely care about that no one gives a frack about. The reason why he is where he is right now is because of the Song of Ice and Fire. The end. He doesn't want to ask about it? Well, then, as I said, there's 3 solutions. I came up with 3. 1, finish him. That's the easiest one. Just suck it up and release it. 2, get someone else to do it along the same vein. Or 3, say I'm going to release him after my death. I promise you were going to get them after I die. People will forgive him for that. But I would say this to George Martin, the same thing I say to everyone else about things on the internet. The only winning move is not to play. Don't play. On the other hand, then, if people choose not to play with you, then don't get bitter. Stieg is pointing out that it is about Ragnarok plus the end of days, not about who sits on the throne. People just think about the throne due to the title of the show. That is true. And the publicity where they made a big fuss about that. Yeah. Really, the only Game of Thrones was the first book. That was called A Game of Thrones, not everything else. I always think that I'm being a big hypocrite when I say, "Everyone just get off the internet," because that includes me. I have for the most part, though. Well, especially because I found out it doesn't even matter the way the algorithm now works on X, for example, under Elon Musk, is that people won't see your stuff unless you pay. And then what ends up happening is he keeps raising the price, he keeps moving the goalposts, and I'm like, no, I'm not playing that. Fine. So people aren't going to see what I do. Or you can't see responses and stuff. It's like, I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna be it's like going to the casino and expecting to win money. Correct. Well, thank you. I think you're talking about the Game of Thrones was really only the first book. Maybe the Clash of well, no, Clash of Kings was about the Clash of Kings. It's rinse and repeat with him at this point, yeah, and I think he's just showing that he's bitter. On the other hand, there is a total solution with life, for example, have something else in your life be something that's more important because you won't get bitter. What's more important? Well, a lot of other things. Find that one thing and ignore the rest. That's kind of what they said in City Slickers. The reason why I keep saying John Black, that comes from Days of Our Lives. And they were right now going through where they're actually having him die. The actor died in real life, sadly. And it's kind of silly, but yeah, I love John Black. Betty Hepburn says, a musician in a fave band of mine kept getting asked if they were going to do something with a former member. His reply was essentially, the longer it doesn't happen, less people care. True. Or just wait till the fat lady sings. It's not over till the fat lady sings. Yeah, and there's a ton of fantasy books out there to read. And there are a ton of fantasy writers that actually give a frack about their fans. Brandon Sanderson is a great example, though I just laugh when everyone keeps saying, get Brandon Sanderson to finish it. First of all, no. He's incredibly unsuited to finish it, and I'm almost 1,000% sure I can speak for him when I would say he's never going to do anything like that ever again. That was a one-time deal. But yeah, Brandon Sanderson is not the person to finish it. But Brandon Sanderson, Raymond Feist, Terry Brooks, hell, R.A. Salvatore did the best he could. He had some issues with the whole Dragonlance people, and not Dragonlance, Wizards of the Coast, etc. No Kevin J. Anderson either. Oh, no, yeah. I mean, these people, they're total different writers. Just because someone writes fantasy does not mean that they can write Game of Thrones. And the Game of Thrones is fantasy, yes, but it's also history, and it is, for lack of a better word, adult material. It's like, yes, there wasn't as much sex as in the TV show, not as much cursing, but there was a lot. There was enough in there. And that there are certain writers that do certain things. If the fat lady did sing, she inserts been, oh. Hey, she's been losing weight, though. She's been losing weight. More power to her. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end. We are now at the 1 hour mark. Thank you for hanging out with me and talking about the Meltdown. Very simple solution. I'm getting very close to just not caring. I mean, there's only just so much energy you can put into stuff. I don't even want to read the books. Like, why read the book that doesn't have a conclusion? I've enjoyed reading the Fire and Blood better than just about anything else Martin's written because, well, it's history. It's good. Yeah, Steve is listing some good ones. Jordan, Goodkind, Brooks, and Feist all concluded. Eddings, too. Mm-hmm. Jordan concluded from the grave. You can't top that. Can't top it. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone that's been here. Let's see. We had Steve Kenobi, Betty Hepburn, who else? Biggles Mets, thank you for the $5 super chat. Sci-Fi Sith Dan. Norpoy Lifeform popped in. We have Greek Letters Guy. We had, let me see, Shield Wall of Dragons, Gap After Dark. If I missed anyone, not intentional, things shift all over the place. Let's see, did I catch the guy? Yeah, Man Bear Pig. Thank you for being here. And once again, as I said, if I missed anyone, not intentional, I want to say thank you for being here. Oh, speaking of which, it is Salty Traveling Sea. Thank you for being here, sir. Oops, late. Yes, we're about ready to leave. We basically concluded that Martin just needs to get off the internet if he can't handle it. He's becoming a classic example of someone who can dish it out but can't take it. And that he needs to just come to the conclusion that, yes, the only thing anyone cares about is A Song of Ice and Fire. If he cares about other things, well, that's great, but no one else cares. He's not going to make people care. May your path be clear and your journey safe. Well, thank you, Betty Hepburn. Thank you for being here, and I'm glad that I'm able to come back and do these streams. I haven't been doing them as early as usual because I didn't wake up. I slept in. I am still recovering from the flu. It really took a lot out of me. However, there's worse problems to have in life. People just need to, and I'm talking about people like Martin, just suck it up and hire a PA to do your social media and go and live your life or finish the books. Either one. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain to read good fantasy where the writers have some respect for their fans.